Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of All Things Considered. Excuse me. So, as always, support USARK. They fight for our rights as reptile keepers. Most recently, we saw them defeat two bills in Colorado and Arizona that were totally trampling our rights as reptile keepers and should never have even been submitted to the floor of their respective state governments. Also, if you're shipping reptiles for the first time, head over to Redline Shipping and use the code Robin60 for 2 shipments, 60% off of the FedEx retail rate. Morning, Tommy. Thanks for tuning in. So today's content might upset some people. I don't know. I don't care. It's just my opinion on it. But before I get into that, I wanted to bring something up that sort of bugs me and grinds my gears, if you will, and it's probably really petty. But it is kind of annoying after a while, after somebody does it multiple times. So say if I'm following you and I notice you follow and unfollow me like a couple times, and you have interacted with me and you know who I am. So either you're very forgetful or you don't like what I do, but then for whatever reason, a couple of weeks, months later, you follow me again and then unfollow me. This stuff's annoying, so I'm just going to unfollow you. Really don't care. It's annoying. I don't care your reasons why. I mean, sometimes somebody will post something, 2 years ago, and I unfollow them, and then I'll follow them back because I forgot who the hell they were. I get that, but this is, over, a shorter period of time where it's just constant, where I see the notification, oh, I thought they were following me, about 2 or 3 times. Anyway, it's petty, but it is annoying, especially when they're a brand, right? Individual people, sometimes it happens, whatever. I go through my list and clear out people I don't really interact with just because I don't interact with them. But anyway, so to today's topic, it's giveaways. I have done them in the past. When I hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, I gave away a t-shirt. I sort of just did whoever was my 1,000th follower and you showed me proof. I sent you a shirt, and that was fine. It worked. There was no, I didn't go over 1,000 and then back under and then back over. So I had 2 people. It was just, the first one. So it worked out nicely. And it's somebody I know or now know and have purchased animals from. So it wasn't too bad, but I've participated in other people's giveaways for when they hit milestones, things like that. And I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. For me, from a marketing standpoint, that just doesn't make sense anymore. When I was newer, smaller, it made a lot of sense, right? To get my name out there. Okay, you get sticker pack t-shirts or, here's an animal, something like that. Store credit that people still haven't used yet that I'm probably going to forget about, and so will they. You got my name out there, but now it's sort of like, well, okay, you guys, if it's taking you longer to get to whatever these social media milestones are and you're already producing stuff, why the heck should I be giving you snakes to, give away? It's like, if you want to support somebody, buy their products. Morning, Patrick. This is going to be a little bit more of a rant show than anything. Hopefully I can draw something positive out of it. But I get you want to support your buddies and things like that. But, for me, if you want to support me, go on my storefront here, buy my shirt. Inquire about my animal, support me in that way. Show up here in the chat, show up, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. I'd appreciate that a heck of a lot more than you, hey, if you want to do a 1,000 subscriber giveaway, here's this animal that's maybe good, maybe bad, but sometimes it's never okay. I have one that I could give to a giveaway. I'd probably sell it the same as a $20 normal, but it's a double het male. It's like, okay, now I'm helping you grow your channel, and I not that I expect it to be returned to me. I want to be authentic here, but it just gets old. It's like every milestone here or there. It's like, oh, giveaway, oh this, oh that, and it's like, well, for me, it's a cop out. Especially if I understand that you want to support the people that support you and give back. That's one thing, and you can certainly do that. Maybe you hit a milestone or whatever, and it's a credit to your store or something like that to people that support you, right? And this is where I'm just talking about these milestone giveaways right now. When people support you, so maybe they're the members of your Patreon, maybe they're the members of your YouTube, whatever the heck their version is. Maybe it's the people that have purchased animals from you, right? The people that have supported you in some way other than just being on social media. Because the second you make this 1,000 subscriber giveaway, you're going to have a bunch of randos, people that don't actually support you, coming in for free stuff. So that's where I don't like the idea of these things. When it's open to everybody, right? Because I can come in, I don't know you from Adam, and I just happen to have this come across my algorithm. It's like, oh, I have to do this, and I can get XYZ credits, animals, things like that. Cool, minimal effort on my part. So I don't like that these things can be taken advantage of by people that don't actively support me or you or whomever. They're just there for the cheap stuff or free stuff. and I've been saying that often. I don't like that sort of thing. The people that lowball, the people that are trying to if you're rehoming something or moving off of an animal, they try to get it dirt cheap because they're a rescue or whatever. And it's like, stop. Things cost money. Things we may be selling them for less money now than we were in the past, but things do cost money. And some of us are trying to supplement our our regular work or 9 to 5s with this as a hobby, or to get it to pay for itself. And if we're selling something for like $500 and you'd be like, I'll give you $10 for it, no, get out of here. Right, exactly. I if I were to do it, it would be to my customer base, people that I know have supported me, right? Whether it's I've done business with them, or bought something from them, or they've bought something from me, or there's been a mutual exchange of goods and services, things like that. That's what I would do. So it's a smaller group, and it's not open to everybody. I'm all for people celebrating hitting these milestones. It's pretty cool. I was excited when I hit 1,000. Right, when I hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, and Patrick's been following me long enough that he remembers some of the stuff that I did. Or posted about being in some of these giveaways in the past, and it was a good way to grow, get my name out there when I didn't have when I wasn't producing animals. But at the same time, and then a lot of these happened around the same time. People were hitting like 1,000 subscribers on Instagram. There were a bunch of fundraiser auctions or fundraiser spin to wins, things like that going on, and I was giving away far too much stuff at the time just to get my name out of there, and it wasn't. I mean, I think it was worth it, but at the time, like, I wouldn't do it again, because once I did 2 or 3 of those fundraisers, everybody was asking me. Good morning, Stephen. And Courtney, how's it going? Hope you guys did well at the show over the weekend. But yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue if you're marketing yourself. Just don't overdo it when you're new, and don't continue to do it when you should be selling your own, your stuff. That got me a little sidetracked from my initial point. But yeah, I mean, it is exciting. When I hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, I was like, "Ooh, yay!" I really haven't done anything. I'm nobody. And then when I hit 2,000, somebody had to tell me. I wasn't even paying attention to that metric. So awesome. And now that's a good show. Now, hopefully, you didn't buy 19 new snakes and then come back with more than you left with. That's good. It's nice to see certain shows starting to pick up again. Beginning of the year, people getting their taxes back certainly helps. Some easement in the economy as well, depending on where you're at. But that's awesome. So, the other, I really hate being negative and talking about things that I don't dislike right now. Everybody can do your own thing, but with these giveaways, I've seen this. I don't have a problem when you do it once in a while, right? When you're new, and even when you're new, right? To bring people in, right? But I'm not a big fan of any sort of gimmicky thing, right? So if I'm doing a weekly show and there's constantly going to be stuff given away, are people really supporting me, or are they coming to get discounted goods? And are they really going to be there through thick and thin? Are they actually supporting you? So it's sort of like, it bugs me where, oh, we're doing a spin to win for this, spin to win for that, or we're auctioning off this, and it's like a weekly thing. It's not just one off every so often. I mean, I get that. Okay, hey, I got this first person. We're gonna bid it. We're gonna auction it off right now to people in the chat. You're gonna get a great deal. That's fine. You do it once in a blue moon. Okay, but it's like you're advertising it throughout your social media. It's getting out there, and you're bringing in people that aren't really your supporters, and you're sort of artificially inflating your what you're doing on social media, and I don't really like that, and that's just my opinion, because I want to do this, and I want the people that are coming in to watch me, that are coming in to support me, liking, sharing, all that stuff. I want them to actually be people I know, and it's mutual, right? It's not like they're just there for free stuff, right? There's a chance that everybody in the chat right now might buy something from me at some point, but I'd rather not bring in people that aren't really there for me. I'd rather grow or organically and authentically based on the content I'm putting out there, the snakes that I'm producing, over, hey, this week you're gonna, you got a chance at winning 5 snakes, free shipping. It's like, okay, yeah, that's gonna bring people in. It might inflate my my watch hours, things like that, but I'm not doing this for that. Right, and at the same time, we've heard this, and I think I brought it up last week with the auctions. It works right now with the market, and you get to your wider audience. But if you're doing giveaways, eventually you're going to run out of stuff, right? So if I have thousands of dollars worth of store credit out here, and I have a pretty good year producing stuff that I'm going to sell, not hold back, all of that can come back to haunt me. Right. So, I've invested money in animals, things like that. And I want to try to recoup that, when I have a good year of production wise through sales. And oh, wait, a couple of years ago, I gave away a couple $1,000s in credit, and that eats up any sales that I would have had. Now it's a loss. Even if you got your name out there for the marketing, I doubt your YouTube or Instagram is going to be paying you whatever you potentially could have lost, in that banner year that you had. Just because you gave away so many credits. It's like, that doesn't make sense. I get every once in a while doing a store credit because it's easy. Right. Stuff like that when it's a one-off thing. It's like, okay, yeah, you guys are watching. That's awesome. But yeah, I don't mind doing credits because sometimes somebody will win them and they'll never use it. So I've started putting a limit on when I do it. For 2 years, because you might have a bad year. Like if I gave somebody a credit, 2022, 2023, and last year was a bad year. I only have 3 snakes that wound up surviving. So if I had an expiration date on it, that person got screwed. But it's no risk on me. So I might have just extended it because I did have a bad year of production for whatever reason. So maybe a 2-year expiration. Something like that, depending on your size. But if you're going to be producing quite a few clutches, maybe 1 year, I'd be fine with that because it's no risk when you do it in a limited manner. I don't get the people giving away more credits than stuff they're producing. Doesn't make sense to me. A lot of the people that have gotten my credits, I know who they are. I know how much it is. And a lot of them aren't working the stuff I'm working or have something really specific in mind that's going to, no matter what the market is, it's going to exceed the credit that they have. So, morning, Kevin. I have to keep an eye on my time this morning. So because I have to go to a different office today, not my office 5 minutes up the road. Well, yeah, I really don't like the stuff where it becomes a gimmick. Right? It's like I'm doing this solely to get views, follows, subscribers. And it could be that's your thing, right? If that's what you want to do, you want to give away stuff, fine. Just please don't do it when you're anywhere close to where I'm going live if I know you, or where, because it does hurt. It's like when you have more than a one-off thing, when you're encroaching on somebody else's established line, it gets kind of annoying after a while. Now I don't mind. Every so often something happens to do an auction to benefit somebody. Oh, that's pretty cool. I haven't been watching his stuff as much as I should. I've been relying on everybody else to sort of give me some feedback. I do have some. I have some a shed from my blood that I need to send them. And ironically, now I have some Desert Ghost stuff that I didn't have at the time I had the 2 free shed tests, but I should be sending my het enhancer, het DG, or possible het stuff there just to get it figured out. Yeah, I mean that's awesome. 2-day. If that can be guaranteed, I would assume you'd have to get a tracking number on whatever you're shipping, so you see when they actually get it. That's pretty good. I know when I sent mine to Charlie, I had complained because it took like a week and a half to get there. But he got it on a Monday, and I had my results that day. I guess because he was just working on it. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to have 2 options, and the RGI certainly has different stuff than Gray Rider. But yeah, I use both depending on what they have. But hopefully, I can get some more people with blood pythons and short tails to get sheds out to them. I don't know what exactly they're looking for there. People using Orbeez. I've heard of it. And it makes sense. It has all the humidity, none of the actual wet. If that makes sense. They're little plastic balls that filled with water. I've heard of people using them. Yeah, and also people just using the hatch trays with water. With a little gap between the actual water and where the eggs sit. My concern with using the Orbeez is, like, do they eventually like decompose? That would be my concern, because you use these, you're only going to use them once, like you would with any hatch substrate. So if they, my concern would be, like, do they start to degrade after 60 days, whatever the incubation period would be for that animal? And do they actually decompose after a certain time? Because I don't want to be throwing that stuff in the landfill compared to like vermiculite or perlite, where it's either going to compost or it's not going to cause any harm. But I have heard of people using them. I think was it Melissa from Cuddle Time? Maybe. I don't know why that one sticks with me. Yeah, Patrick. I've heard just using water in the hatch trays and light diffusers. I used Hatch Rate for the longest time, but it's really expensive. It's just it's perlite that's like pre-mixed or something like that. So I just have a big old 50 pound bag. I don't know. It looks like a 50 pound bag, but it's a lot lighter. Vermiculite that's probably going to last me for a couple of years. It's only like $50 on Amazon, so I figured why not. Always have it, and especially with having leopard geckos and crested geckos, it'll be beneficial. But yeah, I thought about using the Orbeez just to make it a little bit easier. I don't think I think they absorb just a certain amount of water, and you don't have to get like the mixture perfect. But I'm not sure, and I have to go back and look to see who actually has done it, and if they, what their success rate was, things like that, what the issues that they had were. I would assume mold would be on the lower end, and maybe condensation. I don't know, but yeah, I get that. But it all depends how deep your tubs are and where everything sits. So, but yeah, back to the topic. The giveaways. I don't like anything when it's a gimmick. If you want to do a one-off thing, that's fine. for whatever reason, that's cool. But when it becomes a part of your channel, a part of you, like that's all you're sharing out. So are you really getting followed? Are you really getting your name out there because of your content, because of what you're doing, or just because you're giving stuff away? I don't like anything like that. I don't like live feeding videos. I think that's stupid. Like Billy said last night, if I want to see a snake eat, I got 40 some odd back there. I can watch them eat multiple times a week for the hatchlings and smaller snakes, and I get more than my fill of it, and it's never really that enjoyable. Especially when I'm feeding live, and I tend not to feed live to most of my animals just because it poses a danger. So rodents have teeth, and I like my snakes, and I don't want them to get hurt. And a larger rodent can and will defend itself. And snakes aren't perfect. Sometimes they'll strike at the completely wrong part of a rodent, leaving the head exposed, and can cause damage depending on how big the rodent is and where it is on the snake. It can be potentially devastating. Or if the snake doesn't eat and you just leave the rodent in there and you don't check on it like some people, and you come back to a snake that's been partially chewed up by the rat. I mean, no, I don't want any of that. I spend too much money on these animals to do that. I don't get the allure of live feeding stuff. If you get off on watching that, there's something wrong with you. That's my opinion on it. It's weird, right? In anything, I don't mind it if it's like on a David Attenborough thing where you see a cheetah chasing down a gazelle. That's nature, right? That's happening out in the world, right? You're not staging that interaction. I find with that, nature being nature, you putting a microphone really close to your tub to pick up the squeak of the rodent, that's completely staged. That's morbid. I don't agree. I don't really support any of those channels because for me, it's not that big of a deal to see a snake eat. I've seen it thousands of times. I don't like that stuff. And the other type of thing that you'll never see me do, it'll happen occasionally. I'm not perfect. Some of these snakes are not, might not be the nicest from time to time. So if I'm doing a handling video, like I have a blood python and a boa that can be feisty and, try to strike my face, whatever. You've seen me handle the boa or both of them before, occasionally. So I try to limit when that stuff happens because I don't want to sensationalize it that all these animals are going to be constantly striking, flying out of the tub. Sometimes when you have hatchlings, they're a little, feisty, depending on the species. Sometimes you just have ones that'll come out of the tub at you regardless. And it's not all of them. I have plenty that, I could be feeding and still pick up and they'd be 100% fine with me picking them up, not strike at me, not thinking I'm food. So I don't want to do that. Anything that's like sensationalizing that stuff and, just for views. It's like, yeah, it happens. It's annoying for me to have a 5-year-old boa that is still kind of finicky, but I don't want to promote stuff like that. Now, if it happens and I'm showing, how I'm handling this animal, how am I trying to get it acclimated, calm down, things like that. And if it happens during that type of a video, sure, that's fine because it would fit the content of the video. But I'm not just going to be enticing the snake to do it or anything like that just to get views. It's stressing out the animal. So when I'm handling it, the second that happens, the interaction's pretty much over, and I gently let them go back into their enclosures on their own, rather than just constantly having them out there, being stressed out. So, like I said, I don't like any content where you're doing something provoking an animal or harming another animal, whatever it is, just for views. Anything that isn't you. And if that is you and you get off on that and you like that stuff and you like putting that stuff out there, it's a little weird to me. So I'd rather, just put out content that I like. I'm not going to change myself for anybody in this industry, in this hobby. I'm not going to be like magically next week so I get views. Oh, I'm going to do, a raffle every week for a store credit. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do live feeding videos. I'm not going to do any videos or anything where, I'm trying to get an animal to bite me or strike at me. No. I can't stand people that do that stuff. You're never going to see me make a fancy short or do a stupid TikTok dance or whatever the hell it is. I'm not. No. My shorts pretty much are going to be sometimes me talking and showing you a snake. That's what we're here. This show is more talk related, not really showing off animals, talking about things that are going on. But with my new videos coming out, I'm doing a rack rundown series where the first one was last week, and it was everything that had a het clown, visual clown, all that stuff. So this week's video is going to be everything with Pied in it. And there are some repeats, as you can see where my projects bridge over, but mostly the video is me doing an introduction and then a couple minutes of just showing off snakes. And that's sort of how I roll. I'd rather, the content I absorb and I enjoy. I like to see people's animals. Occasionally, if it's a good knowledge drop, a podcast where you don't see any animals is fine. You're not going to have somebody like Justin or Ozzy or somebody really big. They might just be doing it from their home at this point, and they're not at their facility. I get that, but you're going to get the knowledge from them. I can't, and I'm on some of these panels and things where we spend 1 hour talking about nothing related to reptiles, and it's like for me, and that doesn't do it. I like talking about these animals. I like showing them off. I like seeing what other people are working with. So, for me and the stuff I put on this channel, that's what it's going to be like. I'm trying to be educational, showing you my growth. Things that I'm doing here, and it works for me. It doesn't work for me. Whatever. I'm not necessarily going to change it. I might pivot to change content or style, things like that. So I didn't see anybody tune in on Facebook, but this is also live on Facebook now. So both of my Saturday show and this show are going to be streamed both to YouTube and Facebook. I'm working on uploading all the audio from the past podcasts to an RSS feed. So there's an audio version that's going to be out there of the entire history, just to give me another avenue. I'm already doing this. It doesn't take too much longer to download the audio and then post it to an RSS feed that goes out to these podcasting platforms. So, for me, that's just a way to get this content out there to more people. So I'm excited to see, what I can do with that. Because I know there are some people that just like listening to a podcast and, they're not watching it, on YouTube or whatever. So we'll see. It'll take some time to get that all set up, but I want to see what that does. I've also set up this on YouTube to be a podcast. I think it just listed over in the podcast section on YouTube. It doesn't. I don't think it streams out to YouTube Music without the RSS feed. But we'll see. I'm working through that. But yeah, I'm excited. I wanted to bring more content this year as I was lacking last year in putting out videos. So I wanted to, the 2 lives each week, provided, something comes up. Like if I get sick last minute or something like that, obviously I won't have anything. And I want to do a video once per week and do shorts. Right. Yeah. There's a couple other people that do it, but I don't know if there's a reptile. Here, let me search podcast reptile related. What's here? And I don't know who will listen to it. Maybe it'll just come up. Somebody puts on a type of playlist that throws it up in the algorithm. I don't know. But it just gets me out there to more people. It's sort of expanding in that. And I want to try to, expand what I'm doing from the, 1,000 some odd people that are constantly, interacting with me. If I'm giving you all guys all the same content, not bringing in new people, it's sort of, how do I pivot? What change do I have to make to sort of bring in, the general public? I mean, a lot of you that are in the chats, I know personally, have interacted with countless times, have been on the show, things like that. So I want to, how do I get to the people that I'd be selling to, right? Because I can walk into a show in Pennsylvania and the breeders, for the most part, know who I am, but the people don't. So it's like, how do I get out to that wider audience? So I think shorts will help. I think being consistent will help. And when I put out the videos, I have a new intro, I have an outro, and they're filmed in 4K now. After all the stuff about me getting a camcorder and having a DSLR camera, my iPhone happens to be the best recording device that I have, which is kind of funny. So I hope you guys enjoy the new video series that's coming out. It's each week's going to be a different project or a different recessive. I think it's so it was Clown last week, Pied this week. Then it's going to be Ultramel, which for some reason is my shortest video, just because I have the fewest animals, but it's also one of the projects that I am closest to hitting a double visual. Then I think it's Blue-Eyed Leucistic complex stuff, Hypo, and then the last one's Enhancer DG, which is also pretty short. I wasn't thinking about it when I did the order about how the length and the depth I'm in each project, but so I recorded all these videos so I don't have to do anything for my Thursday videos until March now. So it was nice having the day off and being able to do that. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to sort of be more consistent, put out more content, better content. Go back to getting guests on Saturday. So this Saturday, I have Vance from Blue Zombie Morts coming on. You've seen him multiple times on the RWO show. He's been on this channel as part of a panel, but for the most part, he has been more quiet on these panels because we have a lot of talkers or over talkers. So I want to give him an opportunity. I think it's going to be his second or maybe third interview live that he's done. So I'm looking forward to that. And getting to, get to know him a little bit better, aside from, being on these panels where everybody's just yapping. So it'll be exciting. So I don't know who I'm going to have the following week. There's a couple people I'm thinking about reaching out to. But I want to be cognizant of, if you were just on somebody else's show, not to have you, back to back. And, for some people like to do that because it gets them all out of the way. But if you're watching an interview you saw Monday on Saturday on my channel and it's the same content, chances are you're not going to tune into me after you just heard all about it. So we'll see. But it is time for me to finish getting ready for work because I have about a half an hour drive and I'm going to be a little bit late this morning. But I am working from a different office, so I can't go as long as I normally would like. I may debate on moving this a half an hour earlier moving forward, just so I have a little bit more time, because I feel like I hit that half an hour and I got to end it abruptly even if I'm talking. But thanks for tuning in. Check out my video about all the Pied stuff I have in my collection that's going to drop Thursday at noon. I will be on the RWO show Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. I believe it's on Jesus from Rising Sun Serpent's channel. And then on Saturday, like I said, on Shedding Your Skin, I will have Vance from Blue Zombie Morts. So that's pretty much the week. Tune into my shorts and daily. I try not to repeat the same animals, within close succession, but sometimes it happens. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.